Talk to him. Yee. What's going on? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the live stream. This is the final show of the week. We missed yesterday's live stream, so we were not able to come on. I was stuck in traffic. I was behind. It was one of those days where, Dr. Kojo had to take Dr. Kojo's advice and just kind of chill out for a little bit. So we're back today, and I think this is the first bonus show of the year, actually. And the bonus show is just when I come on in the middle of the day. It's the same thing for the most part as the late night show or the breakfast show, but it's the midday show. It's a bonus show, and we're going to talk about 3 neurodivergent superpowers to tap into. But before we do that, go ahead and use the comment section to let me know what your name is and where you're checking in from. Like I always say when I do this live stream, my name is Kojo. I'm checking in from sunny Los Angeles, California. Sunny for the most part, but it's a good day. I know it's going to be a fantastic one now that y'all are rolling in, so I'm excited to get into it. Leilani, I'll check the email and gotcha. I got it. I got the tab open. Gotcha. What's up? Everybody's here. I'm excited to see everybody. Ohio in the house, Pennsylvania in the house, Charlotte in the house, California in the house, Houston in the house, Kirkland, Washington, Boston, San Antonio, Minneapolis. Leia, first time here. I hope you have a good time. I hope you learned something, and I hope you, share this live stream to other people. Hey, Kojo, I'm checking in from cloudy Scranton, Pennsylvania. Great to finally see you live. Tiffany, I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're able to pop into a live stream. Melissa, obviously, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Okay. For some reason, I feel like you're military or from a military family. So thank you for your service if you are. San Antonio, Texas, Montana in the house, West Virginia, Louisiana, Tennessee, Alabama, Wesley Chapel, Florida, South Florida, Nebraska. I'm so happy I caught the show today, the bonus show. It's National Lunch. Proud Lunch Lady. Woo! First love of the show goes out to Dania. Hello from Oregon. Nicole, I appreciate you. Independence, Virginia. And you is fine. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I like to say that my parents had sex at the right time. So I guess I got some okay genes. Dallas in the house. And also, this is also a really good reminder. If you do not want me to click your comment on the screen, because anybody in the world can see these live streams and I keep them up. We have live streams up from last year. So if you don't want your comment to be clicked, just put no show comment, please read. That will let me know to not click the comment and bring it on here. Okay. Arizona, love your content. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Prior service, but husband is active duty Army. Thanks for love. Melissa, thank you to you and your husband. I appreciate you all. Jenny, Southern Illinois. What's up? Rashmi from California. Ottawa, Ontario. What's up? All right, so this is a good topic. It's not today's topic, but there's a lot of correlation between childhood trauma and mental illness. And I think somebody asked me this question as it pertains to borderline personality disorder, which there's a lot to talk about there. So we will have a show about this, but the long and short for right now is that the things that happen to us as kids, they do affect us as adults. That's why it's important to do our best to work through these issues. And also when we become parents and as we parent, the next generation, it's important to keep that in mind. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking, but my back is much better today. It's been a rough 2 weeks for my back. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. At the dentist right now, wait for my name to be called. All right, well, Nancy, hopefully they call your name soon, but until then, we will keep you entertained. Hannah, what's up? How are you doing? Victoria from Virginia Beach. You're giving me many pinpoints, education, and mental health. I shared your page and book with me. Victoria, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And 2 more months, and I will celebrate 7 years of sobriety and clean time. That deserves a love of the show. It's really hard it's hard to be sober in general, just in general. There's a reason why you keep track of how long you've been sober. So every single day is actually a win, because it's been 7 years of sobriety. It takes 1 hour to ruin all of that, or just a couple of minutes, and you decide to stick it through it and keep going. So that's a big congratulations. big congratulations. I don't know. My watch feels funny on my wrist today. All right. I don't know. I don't know if that's an ADHD thing for me or a sensory thing. My watch just feels funny in my wrist. Thanks to you, I was finally diagnosed with adult ADHD. 30 years, thought I was crazy until I saw you listen to Symptoms Women. So my doctor, and sure enough. So thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And yes, Austin, congratulations. Congratulations on 7 years of sobriety. I know it's not easy. And those people, if you're not familiar with addiction, you don't get it. It's not something that nobody chooses to wake up and be addicted to a certain thing. So every single day is worth celebrating. All right. So the 3 neurodivergent superpowers, right? And keep in mind when we're talking about neurodivergence, mostly ADHD and autism, but also dyslexia, dyscalculia, amongst other things. So the first neurodivergent superpower that I want to talk about, and yes, anytime, Austin, congratulations. I'm proud of you. The first one I want to talk about is hyperfocus. All right. So hyperfocus, it can be a superpower, but there's times when hyperfocus can hold us back, right? So let's say you need to do a science project, right? You have a science project that's due tonight, and you take your ADHD medications, right? And then for some reason, you hyper-focus on cleaning the house, right? Now you're cleaning every nook and cranny in the house. You're cleaning, going up and down, sweeping left and right. Now you're not focusing on the right thing, but you are hyper-focused, So that's not maybe ideal. But there are times when we have to lock in, and for me, I can speak on this from personal experience. There's times in my life where I've had to lock in and work on a certain project or a certain thing because I want to get it out, whether it's like content that I'm posting here or whether it's like a short film that I'm trying to do or whatever it is. There's times that you have to lock in and focus on something, right? And for those of us who have experienced hyperfocus, when your hyperfocus lands you on the thing that you have to actually focus on, it's a beautiful thing. It doesn't happen often, though. Sometimes we focus on everything but the right thing. But when we're able to tap into that hyperfocus, I think it can be a superpower. And what this is, and I'll get to comments in just a second, but this is called like reframing, right? So when you go to a therapist, what they'll do is they'll help you see things from, what they would normally help you do is see things from a different perspective, right? So we call that reframing, so you're looking at something that looks like it should be negative, but you're thinking of it in a different way that you realize that it can help you out in certain areas of your life, right? So if you're hyper-focusing and you're locked in on something that needs to get done, like the essay, the science project you have to do tonight, right? If you're doing that and you can lock in for 3-4 hours, you have an amazing project, right? So when it works like that, it's awesome. And Steph says, I love it when I'm in hyper-focus mode. I get so much done. I agree. And sometimes I've seen people compare hyperfocus mode to mania. And there are some similarities, right? Like mania with bipolar disorder and being hyperfocused with like ADHD. Like you're locked in on a certain thing. Your mood might be elevated. You're like driven into that one thing. And it can be good, provided that that's the thing that you would like to work on at that time. Mailman, can't count the number of times that hyperfocus has helped me complete things I procrastinated doing. Yeah. And I've had this too. I've had days where I've had things that I've needed to do for months, right? And I might take like 3-4 hours, and it's the best feeling ever. Like I'm knocking out things that I haven't done for months. I'm just knocking them out. And I feel so accomplished. That's one of the best feelings of all time, right? But, the reason why I procrastinated is because, I'm more than likely was in that ADHD paralysis where and sometimes the process can last, depending on what it is, it can last for like, minutes to hours. And sometimes it feels like it'll last for weeks to months. If, not ADHD paralysis in the sense of, oh, I'm stuck on the couch. I need to get up and go to my doctor's appointment. I can't go up. That could be it. But also you could refer that to, okay, I have these 3 things I need to do. I need to do them this month. And I get to June, July, I still haven't done them, right? So a good way to get out of it, normally I'll talk myself through paralysis, right? So let's say right now I have to put the clothes from the washer to the dryer, but I'm watching a podcast, and I don't want to get up and do it. A lot of times, Eric, I'll talk myself through it. So I'll say, Kojo, get up. 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 I'm talking to myself. I don't know if it works for you, but eventually I'll actually get up. All right, Kojo, let's get up. Let's get up. Let's get up. Let's get up. Get up. All right. Let's go do the whatever. Get the clothes from the washer to the dryer. I'll talk myself through it, and I'll try and turn it into a game, because sometimes you feel like you're stuck wherever you are. I miss Heather's comment. My mental health in daily life has gotten so much better since I stopped drinking. I still haven't had a strong urge strong enough to make me break my sobriety, but I worry when that day comes. So Heather, real quick, congratulations, on the positive life change. Now I will say this, right? You said you haven't had an urge strong enough to make you break the sobriety, but you worry when that day comes. So right now, Heather, things are good, right? You stop drinking and things are good, right? You can worry right now, yes, but if you're worrying right now, you're preventing yourself from enjoying the present moment. Right now, we're celebrating you right now because you're sober, right? We're celebrating you right now. But even if you do relapse, let's say that happens, it doesn't mean that you're any worse of a person, right? It just means that you're human and you'll get back on track, right? So instead of worrying that that day is gonna come and I'm gonna grab some whiskey on the way home from work and I'm just gonna down it all, right? Instead of worrying about that, should that day come, all right, we'll just handle things when we get there instead of worrying. Because let's say that day comes in 5 years or whatever, but you're worrying the whole time, right? You're gonna worry for 5 years, and that day happens, and you keep worrying. Or we can just enjoy life, do our best to be present. And should that struggle come up again, we'll lean on our coping skills and lean on the people around us and do our best, to keep things together. And let's see, is there a way to encourage or direct our hyperfocus or tasks we need to focus on? So Tiffany, I would be a billionaire if I could figure this out. It's really, really difficult because sometimes when you're hyperfocusing, you're trying to avoid a task that you really have to do, right? So sometimes what I'll do is I'll pair an undesirable task, like my homework, with something that I enjoy doing. So if I love Starbucks, I'll go to Starbucks and do my homework, So it's like a game. Sometimes it's kind of like, how we bargain with kids to try and get them to do things. It's like a game, right? And if you can reframe and look at these things as, okay, maybe the hyperfocus is a superpower, but I have to just adjust it, then you may not have as much resentment, at the end of the day when you're like, all right, I wasn't productive. I don't feel good about what I did today. Before this, real quick, yes. So page 48 and 50 in the workbook, managing day-to-day activities and time buffers. Time buffers, ooh, I love time buffers. That's a huge tip of mine. Ooh, I love time buffers. And my life changed when I started to do that. I do it all the time. Mel's 5-second rule helps. Oh, explain that 5-second rule, because I think I know what it is, but just explain it. Fernanda from Houston, what's up? Shoot me your question. I'll try to answer in between giving these tips. My husband doesn't understand why I take Adderall and I have anxiety and take meds for that. He says it makes no sense. He wants me off Adderall. Who's your husband? Let me talk. I'm kidding. That's not my place to talk to your husband. But Connie, what I would say is if the medication helps you out a lot, right? And if your doctor's prescribed it to you, which it looks like that's what's happened, maybe take your husband with you to an appointment, whether it's virtual or in person, and see if the doctor can explain to your husband why you need to take this medication and what the medication does for you. And maybe you could even write it out and tell your husband, all right, when I take my medications, this is how it makes me a better person. It's how it makes me more productive, more efficient. And then you can relay that to him and say, well, I'm a better person and I'm more satisfied. I'm able to be a better spouse for you. I'm able to be a better mother. I'm able to be a better friend. So it's not that your husband's an evil person. I don't think he's an evil person. I just think that meds and Adderall, a lot of this stuff is misunderstood. So he probably just might be scared. So a lot of times people will be like, oh, my mom, dad, the husband, wife doesn't want me on the medications. And you think that they don't want you to improve. But sometimes we just don't know what these meds do. So we're just a little bit apprehensive. So I think an explanation could help to make things a little bit better, Steph says, right, I do the same. I become my own best friends and coach myself into doing things. Steph, if you do this now, you can do such and such later. I love the show for that. Seth, that's fantastic. You have to talk yourself up. And people will say, "Are you talking to yourself? Are you hearing voice?" No, I'm my inner dialogue. I'm using that to, to encourage myself to get up and do things. All right, and let me see from What's up, Western Australia, nootropics. So, I mean, yes, they could be helpful, but I do my best to rely on evidence based information. So, that's why I tend to lean towards the stimulants and other meds for ADHD and lifestyle modifications more than nootropics. Anytime, Deanna, that's I bribe myself with coffee. Okay, that works. That works. My husband doesn't understand why I have to take my Zoloft. So Sarah, the same thing. Explain that to your husband. This is what the medication does for me, and this is how it makes me a better spouse, person, so on and so forth. And that's why I think mental education is so important in relationships, because some relationships will not work. I'm not saying that yours or the previous person's relationship, but a lot of relationships do not work because of a lack of understanding on sometimes both sides. All right. The second neurodivergent superpower that I think we can tap into is empathy. And I'll go back and read the earlier comments and questions. But empathy, a lot of us who are neurodivergent, because of our own struggles, we're able to feel for other people. So a lot of times if somebody is struggling and you've been there before, you have empathy for that person. You're able to connect with them on a level that most people can't. Our struggles are sometimes what connects us and brings us, closer. And Leilani, you're completely correct. Empathy is a double-edged sword, because sometimes it can get to a point where you try and you're feeling too much. Like you're taking on responsibilities that aren't necessarily yours. So it is a double-edged sword. And I thought about that when I came up with this list. I thought about that. Denise from Nashville. What's up, Denise? I had to talk myself out of bed this morning. Well, Tiana, you're here, and I'm happy that you're here in the live stream. Is there an amount of time that's too long to be on ADHD meds? Eric, great question. Eric is asking some good questions today. Shout out to Eric. This is a fantastic question. So for me, the answer is I don't exactly know, for being honest. But I've looked at studies where people have been on stimulants for long periods of time, and it's been worth it. Of course, every medication comes with side effects, right? So, what are the side effects? Maybe some insomnia, depending on what it is. Maybe dry mouth, maybe loss of appetite. It comes with side effects, right? So on and so forth. But then you look at, all right, make a pros and cons list. So because I took this medication for all these years, maybe it helped me get through school. Maybe it helped me make fewer impulsive decisions. Maybe it helped me manage my money better. Maybe it helped me stop drinking alcohol and stop using drugs. Maybe it helped me stop having impulsive sex, right? Whatever the case may be, when you look at the risks versus the benefits, and the benefits outweigh the risks by far, that's normally how you continue something for long periods of time. Really, really good question. I hope I answered that. That's a really good question. That's a really good question. Hi, I'm from North Carolina. I've been med free for 7 years, been struggling lately. Thinking about going back on medicine, but do not want to. I didn't get the second part of your question, Ms. Walker. I didn't get that second part of the question. But if you're living medicine free and you don't want to go back on it, you can bring that up to your doctor. But sometimes people do get on meds for a period of time and then they can get off. Like it's not about making doctors rich. It's about figuring out what you need for yourself. You might need meds at a certain point in your time, and then maybe after that you don't need them. So it's pretty much what you have to do for yourself, Latasha. Fernando, I appreciate you. I'm just doing my part, and there's a lot of people who are also doing their part in the world. So hopefully they can get platforms and just get louder and louder. Then he says, I have sat in for a couple of chats and must say I'm glad I came across and followed, going through a lot of the same situations here, and I wholeheartedly believe not having knowledge. Denise, yes, yeah. Look, when people are not informed, they're underinformed or misinformed, it can cause a lot of fear, right? So let's say I wasn't Dr. Kojo, right? Let's say I wasn't Dr. Kojo, and I'm just I'm a banker or a lawyer or whatever, and I'm married, and my wife comes home and she's taking Zoloft, right? I'm making something up, right? Let's say my wife comes home and she goes to see some psychiatrist, and the doctor puts her on Zoloft, right? and then let's say we have, let's say it kills her sex drive, and then I'm like, why did this doctor put you on this medication that turned you into a zombie? This makes no sense. You're not depressed. You just need to do X, Y, and Z, right? I don't know. So this is what I'm saying, because this is what, with the information that I have, this is how I react. But when you educate people and say, oh, the doctor gave me this medication, it's an antidepressant, and he said it'll take, 2 to 4 weeks to see a difference, and like it's been very helpful for me, and like I feel lighter on my feet, I'm not as depressed, then I can say, oh, okay, I see what this medication does for you, right? So that's why education is important. Mel's 5-second rule. I think that's the rule where it's like, if something will take like 5 seconds or less, do it now. I'm not sure. I think I taught myself into low tasks to get started. Like if I'm in the living room and I know this should need to be done, I'll start picking up the dog toys in the living room and pick up cups. Yes, I do this too. Like when I'm cleaning the kitchen, I start off with the living room actually, because I have to like pick up some momentum, because I don't want to clean. I just want to make a mess, but not clean. That's how I do it. My 8-year-old is very bright but struggles with focus, hyperfocus. What's the best way to try to get diagnosis? The doctor's office or school testing? So Lisa, if you already know that your 8-year-old is struggling, of course, school testing is good, but the most linear path that you could take to get to a psychiatrist, or psychiatric nurse practitioner, or a psychiatric PA is probably what I would do. Only because if you take that path, you get to a provider who can prescribe medications if necessary. It's like the most linear path to getting help. You get somebody, let's say they diagnose your third grader with ADHD, right? Then if you want to start meds, you have the option of doing it. Then you're already sitting in the chair, and you're already in the office of a person who can write those prescriptions for you. So not only do you get a diagnosis, you get the treatment, like that. And then now we can get back to school. Now we can try some different things. Is this going to work out? Is that going to work out? Maybe you don't want meds. Maybe you want some lifestyle modifications. Can we pair up, an undesirable activity with something that your third grader enjoys? Then you can start looking into the solution. So that's what I would say. And Leilani, I know. So like I said, the second neurodivergent superpower is empathy, but it can be a double-edged sword. So you do have to be able to regulate your emotions, so that way you're not like taking on, emotions of everybody else. Because doing emotional labor for everybody else is very exhausting, right? But to feel empathy for them and to be able to reach out to them and connect with them is very helpful. So it's a double-edged sword. You are correct. Love from Nashville. Hey, I lost my job a year ago due to my ADHD. It was just before I started ADHD community online really exploded. My boss had ADHD, but now I understand that ADHD does not present the same for everyone. I'm still grieving the loss. So Carrie, first of all, sorry for your loss. Sorry for losing your job. And that's why education is so important, because your boss, I'm not sure if your boss is a guy or a girl, but what have we learned from talking about ADHD online? We've learned that ADHD does not present the same for men and women. It can be different, right? It can be more disorganized in you, and it can be more apparent for him. So sometimes even within the ADHD community, we don't understand each other. You would think that we all understand each other, but we don't sometimes, right? Setting healthy boundaries. Yes, if you have the book right here, Setting Healthy Boundaries is page 204 in the workbook. I need to order some more copies of the book. I ran out. Manage what works for you. 15-20 minutes for my meds to kick in. All right, let me answer a couple more questions before I drop in the third neurodivergent superpower. It seems that I have been on Adderall, that some days I take more than 2 a day. Should I change meds? How do you keep from taking more? Because, all right, so Kai, this is what I'll say. So, we are all supposed to take what the doctor gives us, right? So if the doctor says take 1 pill, you got to take 1 pill. If they say take 1, you should not take 2. But let's say the doctor told you to take 1 pill and you took 2, right? If the 2 pills work for you and help your anxiety and depression, you can go back to your doctor and say, hey, you gave me Adderall 10, right? For example purposes, let's just play with that. Let's say the doctor gave you Adderall 10 and you say, oh, one day I accidentally took 20 and I felt so much better. You can talk to your doctor through that. And sometimes I've had patients do this before where they accidentally took twice, and I'm like, oh, so 2 works better for you and no side effects. All right, now we're gonna roll with 2. So I'm just gonna rewrite the prescription to where you take 2 instead of 1. So sometimes we can talk to our doctors and just let them know, and hopefully, that they're able to figure us out and adjust to us. And all right, let me see. Your brain has a certain window to switch from task to task. I literally have to say out loud 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh wow. Oh, so that's it. And I have to do it, and it does help if that's a tool I choose to use a day. Helps on depressed days. I struggle getting out of bed. So Heather, let me give you the love to show for this, and I'll tell you why. So this is important because there's actual evidence that says that, especially for those people with ADHD, they struggle with going from task to task. So there's a delay for the average person with ADHD. You cannot go from task to task as efficiently or as fast as the person who's neurotypical, right? So take me, for example, I have ADHD. Me going from this task to the next task to checking emails, I have to like talk myself through and say, all right, Kojo, we're on live stream right now. After the live stream, we're going to get back on emails and go through the remaining emails and then finish the report. And then after I finish the report, I'm going to go to the gym. And then after that, I have to go to this YouTube meeting. I have to talk myself through all these things because naturally my brain doesn't register that, oh, Kojo, we finished live stream. We have to go to emails. Like if it left up to me, I'll finish this live stream and I'll put on TV and I'll watch Sports Center for hours, right? So I have to talk myself through it. So that way I'm not just like stagnant. So I love this. I love this right here. And let me see. What kind of workbook? Oh, all right. So the workbook is my book right here, Feeling Good, the mental health workbook. This is obviously not a workbook, but I need to go get some more copies of the workbook from my local Barnes and Nobles. My husband puts things in piles in relation to where they belong or what needs to be done with them. And sometimes it drives me nuts because we have random piles around the house. And I'm like, why is this here? Yeah, and it's funny because sometimes, like, I'm pretty sure that the piles that he puts around the house, like, he might know exactly why he put it there and, like, what the purpose was. But to somebody else, they're like, why is this here? Is this trash? It's a mess. We need to get it out of here. All right. And the third neurodivergent superpower. I lost it for a second. And this right here, I'll explain why this is a superpower. And yes, Hunter, we can get the book on Amazon. Thank you so much. Oh, it's most my Amazon too, hopefully. So the third neurodivergent superpower that we can tap into is spontaneity. And why is this important? This is important because a lot of neurodivergent brains tend to get bored really easily, so this is something that a lot of us may struggle with. Like, you get bored of certain things. Sometimes it's people, and when it's like that, I hate that because, like, to hyper focus on somebody in the beginning stages of a potential relationship, and all of a sudden when they're professing their love for you, you're like, nah, that's difficult because somebody's going to get hurt with that, right? But if it can be spontaneous in different ways, like, oh, I'm just going to take a golf class today, or I'm going to sign up for acting classes, like I did. It's not something that I'm used to. I didn't go to school for acting. I went to school, to prescribe medications and to write prescriptions and to help people out. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to try acting. I'm going to sign up for a flag football league. I'm going to, travel here or go here or do this. When we do spontaneous things, it keeps life interesting, and it helps to break up the monotony of Monday looks like Tuesday. Tuesday looks like Wednesday. Wednesday looks like Thursday. Thursday looks like Friday. Saturday and Sunday feel the same. And then you go right back to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? That's difficult because sometimes you get to question yourself, like, what's the purpose of life? What's going on? Thank you, Hunter. Trying new things. We have to try new things. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves to try new things. Like, all right, Kojo, I've been in the house like all week. Let's get out the house. And the gym doesn't count. Let's go try a new restaurant. Let's go. What can we do that's different from what I normally do? So a lot of times with the neurodivergent brain, we tend to be spontaneous and try different things. Sometimes we can take risks too, right? Which might not be the best thing, depending on what it is. But it's important to be spontaneous as you can be. And here's a link to the publisher's website where you can get the book. Thank you, Leilani. I appreciate that. Bree says, I suffer from depression, ADHD, PTSD, anxiety, panic attack disorder, autism spectrum, and I'm 34. The longest I was able to keep a job was 3 years. My psychiatrist thinks that my ADHD triggers the other disorders. Mine is autism. The stress of working is so bad that it was affecting my physical health and my home life. She wants me to retire from work. I'm so sad. So Bree, very sorry to hear all this. And when your doctor, has a recommendation, I'm sure that it's in the best interest for you. But if you don't want to retire from work, you could. It's a relationship. Like your doctor's not. You're not there to make your doctor money. You're there to feel better, right? So you could throw in some different suggestions and say, hey, is there any way that I can look to see if I can get a job where I can work from home, or what can I do? Because I still enjoy working. If you want to work, so mental illness doesn't have to stop us from living the life that we want to live. So I don't think that your life is over. Depression, ADHD, PTSD, anxiety, panic attack, this panic disorder, autism. Your life is not over. You just have to create a new life for yourself where you can do most of the things that you do enjoy doing. So we might have to work a little bit, but once you can get your doctor to understand you and y'all can figure something out, I'm hopeful that you can get back on track. Melanie, how are you doing? I'm very thankful to have found you. I'm very thankful that you found me as well. I'm grateful for your attention. You've helped me realize that I definitely have ADHD. Watching videos made me realize, OMG, that's me, and that's why I do that. You've also helped me do something about it. Thank you. Melanie, I appreciate you in these comments. It really means a lot to me. Just taking all the love, and helps me keep doing this. So thank you so much. And also, here's a link to the Discord server for everybody who is in right now. And it is time. Okay, I'll get this in a second. It is time for the water break. Maybe not. Time for the water break. So there's a magic word that we have to drop in the chat, and this magic word is going to allow us to take some water in, because we sometimes forget to drink water, and we're, at least for me, I'm almost always underhydrated. So the magic word that leads to the water break is always one of the best parts of the day. The bookworm of the group. I like that. I appreciate you, because you need somebody who's like, all right, this page, that page. Like, that's a big help to me in these live streams. Thank you so much, Hunter. I appreciate that. Cheers, y'all. Big cheers. And I'm going with the spicy water today. So let's see if I can get this down. See, we got to be spontaneous. So normally I go with the regular water. And I actually have regular water today. So I don't have to go with the spicy water, but that's what I'm going with. So big cheers, y'all. Cheers. It's water. It looks like it's beer or something, but it's just spicy water. Big cheers. Mickey Ficky. Yeah, that's spicy water. No, that's spicy water. Something else. I thought I could finish it all in one. There we go. I had to take a small break because it's sparkling water. It doesn't go down like regular water. That's spicy water. I'm learning so much. In Illinois, I can't get in to see a person that can diagnose ADHD until January 2024. Not only is it next year, but it's over $1,000. That is a sliding fee scale. Oh my goodness, Mickey Ficky. Whew, that's making me hot just reading that. Wow. Jenny, sorry to hear that. And wow. You could also, I'm not telling you what to do, but you could also go to like your family doctor or PCP. A lot of them are comfortable diagnosing ADHD. And if not, they can refer you to a specialist. So you could go that way instead of maybe waiting for a psychologist. I'm not sure which method you're trying to take, but I'm sorry that you have to wait so long. Like, that's next year. Mickey Ficky, sorry. Wow. I did start my own cake business. I love it, but she thinks that it'll be overwhelming for me, even though it's common for me. So, Bree, yeah, I'll talk to your doctor and see if y'all can, work on something to where you can do the business a little bit, and if you can work from home, a lot of us are working from home nowadays. It could be very helpful for you in terms of saving your energy, not having to drive to the other side of town and do all kinds of different things. Tasha Walker, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Waiting for the day birth. I'll probably do it on accident. Like my brain consciously tells me, all right, you're on live stream, Coda. Try not to like burp, but I might do it on accident one day. Finding your links helped me realize there's nothing wrong with me. I just process life differently from everyone else, and I feel so much better about myself. I like this right here. This is definitely a love of the show, and this is how I feel about myself. Right, we're talking about neurodivergent superpowers. My thing is, all right, if I could choose to not live with ADHD, I would snap my finger and I would just throw it away, right? That would be the easiest way to get rid of it. But I have it, so screw it. We ball. We have to figure out how to live with this thing. So when you reframe things and you realize, all right, there's nothing wrong with me because nobody's technically normal, but I just process life differently, and I have to create a world for myself where I can thrive. It will make you feel so much better, and I hope people who watch this live stream, like after the fact, we are at the 36-minute mark, so somebody would have to actually watch this whole live stream to get to this part. But I hope people can really see this part, because that's what all this education has done for me. It's helped me realize that I have to create a different world for myself where I don't feel as bad, because I'm able to be productive and I live life on different terms. You know what I'm talking about? I'm still trying to learn to live with it. Self-care and organization is so hard for me, harder as I get older, not sure how to find space to function. Well, you just do the best that you can with the sorry, I apologize. Oh, Mickey Ficky. Austin, where did I get Hunter from? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? No, I hate myself for the next 5 seconds. I'm like, all right, Austin, gotcha. Where did I come up with Hunter from? What's wrong with me? But yeah, learn to live with it is hard. But as you get older, hopefully these tips and tricks are helpful, right? Maybe it's meds and supportive therapy for you, but maybe keeping your shoes on at home can be helpful, or working around other people can be helpful, or modifying your diet can be helpful, right? Do stimulants activate the stress response? So Kimberly, sometimes stimulants can make people they can make people a bit more anxious, but a lot of times I've seen it help out with anxiety and make people less stressed out, right? And it depends on what the stimulants you want them to do for you. So let's say you're overwhelmed because you're behind on everything. You take the meds and then you knock out your tasks. You might be less stressed, right? So good question, though. Really good question. My PCP diagnosed me, and later my psychiatrist picked up the medication management. Don, thank you for sharing that, because a lot of folks did not know that. So that's why that's exactly what I did, honestly. My PCP diagnosed me back in Georgia, Dr. Randall Peterson. I'll never forget him, because that was a big moment in my life, getting a diagnosis and getting the help that I needed. So that was Dr. Randall Peterson back in Georgia. I really appreciate that, man. I'm in recovery. Can't seem to find medication. Does make me tired for anxiety. I have an 8-month-old. What would you recommend? So, man, I can't recommend medications officially, because this is not medical advice. We're just talking. I'm just a guy in his kitchen who happens to know a little bit, just a little bit about psychiatry. And y'all are my friends. But what I would say is, if you make sure that doesn't make me tired for anxiety, I would say talk to your doctor and see what options that they have, right? Sometimes we use antidepressants for anxiety. Sometimes we use Buspar. I know Visceral tends to make people kind of sleepy sometimes. So it just depends, but there's so many options that you can get for yourself. So I know that there's many options. I cannot recommend a specific one to you, but the good news is that there is a whole lot of different options that your doctor can choose from. So I'm hopeful for you. It's okay to chug water. So Kimberly, I thought about this because I know that on my live stream, I'll get on here and during the water break, I'll just chug water. It's not the healthiest to be just chugging water. So I do want to say that. And I thought about that one time and I'm like, I might not drink so much water on the water break because I don't know what message I'm trying to send. So it's not the healthiest to just like chug the water. You want to take your time and breathe, and swallow. So yes, thank you for mentioning that. It's not the healthiest to just chug water. You're completely correct. You're completely correct. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Amanda, I appreciate you. Smaller sips are yeah. So please don't like chug water. Well, Butrin is that's another medication is it can do a lot of different things. My family does not understand that I'm different. I love who I am and I've learned how to keep myself grounded and focused, but I still feel like the outsider and it hurts. I always feel like I'm being watched. It makes me nervous and sends my anxiety through the roof. So most of the time I don't attend family functions. I'm diagnosed ADHD bipolar disorder. So Natasha, I do want to say this. This does make me sad because there's a lot of people who they don't want to be accepted by the whole world. They just want to be accepted by their family. And sometimes when families don't understand, this type of thing tends to happen. Not knowing that ADHD and bipolar, these conditions, there's a strong genetic link. So there's a good chance that the family function that you're skipping out on, a lot of the people who are there may have either ADHD or bipolar disorder. I'm not diagnosing your people, but there's a good chance that some of them can have one or both of these conditions, right? But because they don't have the label, whatever they do, that is consistent with that diagnosis, is just like, oh, that's just how they are. But with you, they're gonna be like, oh, she has ADHD and bipolar, and they'll kind of keep you, like to the side. So, hopefully with more education, people can realize that. I mean, a diagnosis doesn't make you any worse of a person. Like I feel good about myself, ADHD or not, right? So hopefully the day where people are not judged because of a diagnosis is coming soon. So, I feel like we get closer to that day every single day, every single minute, so hopefully, we're working to be in the right direction. Is it safe to take ADHD meds when you need them versus taking them every day, no matter what's going on? So, Eric, normally I say it's best to take it the way that your doctor has prescribed it to you. Sometimes doctors will, most of the times they'll tell you to take it every day. But if a kid's in elementary school or middle school, maybe the doctor will say, you can skip it on weekends or you can skip it during the summer break. They call that like a drug holiday. But it's best to take it the same exact way that it's prescribed to you. But I've had patients who have taken meds for years and they've done great. But what's safe for you is what your doctor recommends for you. So that's what I'll say about that. I mean, yeah. And look, if I ever get your name wrong, y'all please call me out. Call me out. Like I would rather y'all call me out. I'm the type of person that, let's say if I'm talking to you in real life and you have like something in your teeth, like some food, I'm like, you got something in your teeth. Like I'm not gonna have you looking dumb, and I'll let you know. So like, please call me out. I don't mind if I mess something up. Call me out. If I mess it up twice, call me out. Call me out every time. I appreciate that. Divergent Voices says, looking to support neurodiversity, acceptance in a meaningful way. Take a look at our exceptional range of products. All right, I'll check out that page. Or it's called Divergent Voices. Got it. Yeah. No, please. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Just because sometimes, like, I'm not sure if people will like let me know about certain things, so then I have to be like, did I say somebody's name wrong? Did I do something weird today? So you're helping me. I appreciate that. And just wanted to let you know that you're definitely not alone. I felt this way growing up and have had to learn all my mental health tools after my diagnosis at 24. But I'm grateful my baby sister has had the support she has and is getting help that she needs. That's awesome. That is awesome. Let me see. Mine made me sleepy. My psychiatrist adjusted my dose, and when I take the meds, not taking Adderall with anti-anxiety and antidepressant meds helped tremendously. I wanted to change med, and it was a dosage I needed to change. So Donna's coming to this live stream, and Donna's dropping absolute dimes and gems in here. So this is so important to know, because sometimes you don't have to change the medication. It might just be a dosage, right? So your doctor knows only as much as you tell them. So if he or she does not know that you are having issues or that it's not going well, they're probably thinking, okay, all right, let me rewrite this prescription for you, and then we'll keep moving forward. So sometimes you have to let them know that it's not working the way it needs to work. Oh, excuse me. Mickey Ficky. Thank you so much for getting us involved and engaged in this convo. I was stuck in bed and since watching, yeah, I flossed, vacuumed, and made the bed. So I appreciate you, Kimberly. I appreciate you, and this is why the live stream is powerful, because it is a form of body doubling. Like, we've been on for 45 minutes, right? In 45 minutes, I could be stuck on the couch in ADHD paralysis and look at the sky and be like, all right, I know I need to go to the gym, but I'll go eventually, right? So the fact that we're all here and there's engagement and people are commenting, and it allows us to get stuff done. So you flossed, vacuumed, and made the bed. So that's a love of the show. That has got to be a love of the show. I almost missed this, but I'm here. You're here. You're here. Let me see. Take Prozac, Adderall, abuse for lunches. They may add another anxiety. It's just you've been another love of the show. You've been doing well, and this is why it's good to go out and get that professional help, because the only person who can really help you out is like the doctor who's talking to you, or who can help you out with medication management, because like I can't prescribe for you through like Facebook. And, if any other healthcare professional is trying to prescribe meds, through online, like TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, then that's weird. Like, that's somebody that you should not follow, because we're not allowed to do that, So when you go out and get the professional help, like, that's like the last thing that we can't do, So congrats to yourself. Bree, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. Tasha, keep going. Sam, I got up and took a shower, and I've been procrastinating for nearly 3 hours. Love the show. Love the show. Great job, Kimberly. Thank you, Austin. I don't know where does Hunter come from? What in the world? Where did that come from? Yeah, this community. I'm very grateful for this community. I've been unpacking 2 boxes. And coming from LinkedIn too. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sandra. I appreciate you. I worked this morning. I came home and I've been stuck scrolling Facebook since 11 a.m. It's now 3:30. Glad to be here. I'm glad that you're here, Melanie. Thank you for being here. I'm working but listening. Hey, as long as you're listening, I appreciate your attention. Wow. Let me see. Yeah. Text. All right, I gotta go in a second. I got diagnosed with ADHD at 31, and recently had my daughter diagnosed with it as well. I'm going through to get my son diagnosed with autism. Never how important it was to advocate for your kids' mental health. It is. They used money as a band-aid when I was having issues. It also caused so many setbacks in my adult life. I'm grateful you made these videos to make us all feel a bit more normal and ways to cope with it. Amy, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. You deserve to feel validated and that your feelings, yeah. Thank you so much. Who wants to pretend like you're coming? So, Brie, I know what you mean. Like when somebody's coming over, sometimes that's the only thing that'll get us up, and then we'll start to like clean, Side note, consistency is key. Today is the 4th day my son has brushed his teeth consecutively. That's a big win. That's a big win. Will take time. It will, but I have to make an active effort, So Austin, I got it. All right. So all right, yo, I do have to dip now, but man, it was it was a good stream. And the topic. We're talking about neurodivergent superpowers, but anytime we hop in the live stream, we always have a topic that we talk about, and then I'll talk about that topic, but then I'll jump in and out of like different topics and stuff like that, because that's just how things go, and and I'm okay with that. As long as y'all okay with that, I'm okay with that. But this is the last show of the week. We'll be back on next week. We probably won't do a Monday show. My schedule's kind of packed in the beginning of the week, but we'll definitely be on next week, Tuesday, for the late night show. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you all at that show. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy it. For those of y'all who are on the East Coast, it's almost the end of the workday, so try and take it easy. You've done the best that you could. You've done the best that you could do. Like, the week is over, right? So It's time to relax. If you're not working on the weekend, let's try and relax, and do what we can. Oh, when's your birthday, Leilani? Happy early birthday. Happy early birthday. It's going to be raining out there this weekend, but Taylor Swift should be in town, so that might make you feel better. Getting lost in conversation with other, yeah. No, Bree, it is a superpower. The superpower is like getting lost. And another superpower is like being able to find your way back to the original topic. That's a superpower because most folks can't do that. If they get lost, they never can come back. But we know because we were going to come back to the main thing anyway. We just have to go around. Monday. Happy early birthday, Leilani. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. You, Kendra, she's not here. Austin, everybody, all the day ones. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Taylor Swift is, really expensive. Divergent Voices, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Happy early birthday, Leilani, for sure. All right, y'all. I got to dip out, but I will see you all next week. Happy early birthday, Leilani, and I hope everybody has a fantastic and amazing weekend. Y'all take care. That's a stream, y'all.